Welcome to Maximizing Your Career with ChatGPT. This will be a very practical guide in really understanding a lot more about how you can enhance your productivity really generally in your life. So what is ChatGPT? For me, ChatGPT is basically every expert imaginable, every conceivable expert, every imaginable professional. That is what ChatGPT can do for you. It can provide you expert advice in any profession, any conceivable expertise. ChatGPT will provide it for you. So what exactly is ChatGPT? ChatGPT in its basics is this. It's a natural language processing tool that is driven by AI technology that allows you to have human-like conversation text, based on the input it receives. And I put input in red because everything about ChatGPT is what do you input? How do you prompt it? It uses deep learning techniques. I'm not going to go into transformer neural networks. Let's just leave those technical, really deep terms, but is a deep learning technique that allows it to process and generate text, allowing it to engage in conversations, answer questions, and generate content. It doesn't have consciousness or emotions, but it is capable of generating text that simulates human-like conversations or provides information based on the training data, whatever information has been put. So it's essentially ChatGPT is just a processing tool that generates human-like conversation text, okay? There are so many different ChatGPTs out there. These are just some examples. Some do more, some do less. Some you have to pay, some you have to sign up. Some are much more interactive. Some are more basic. I've played around, looked around, but there are many ChatGPTs. So there is a lot of conversation on OpenAI. I personally use OpenAI, and it's just one of the types of ChatGPT. Now, the free version basically was launched in November 2022, is offline. So the free version is offline and it has information up to the 30th of November. So what does essentially ChatGPT, or in this case, OpenAI, and most of the other ChatGPT tools offer? 3 categories. So the first is where you're actually having the conversations, where you are having the human-like conversation, which is the ChatGPT. In OpenAI, they called it DALL-E, but it has a variety of names. But essentially, it creates realistic images and art from descriptive language. So you can say, you can add images, you can add an image of yourself and say, I want to be dressed like, I don't know, an astronaut, and I want to be in, I don't know, Yaya Center shopping mall. You can provide information, whatever you want, it will create some of the images for you. And the third aspect is API. For those of you who are in technology will know that API is just anything that can integrate, is an open API, meaning ChatGPT and DALL-E, or the art creation version of ChatGPT, can be integrated with other applications, regardless of what applications. It can be integrated with Canva, it can be integrated with Zoho, it can be integrated with many other technologies. So it has the ability to, so you can integrate it into your email messaging, so it actually works. Bing is doing some of these. So what are the possible uses of ChatGPT? And there are many. Let me start with your productivity, which I think is the most important. So one thing that ChatGPT can do is summarize very large pieces of information. You can put a huge report or a document and say, please summarize it. It can amalgamate information for you, summarizing it. Anytime, we all send emails on a daily basis. Anything that you are writing or replying, it can write them for you, rewrite them for you, rephrase them for you, etc. Daily schedules, it can create any kind of structure for you in managing. I want to run an event, I have 4 hours, help me plan it. I have a 10-day event, whatever schedule you want to do, it will create it for you. ChatGPT also speaks 90 languages. It can translate instantly. So I could potentially integrate ChatGPT with the platform that I'm currently using, have people attend and have it interpret, because I have right now Otter recording everything, and it can translate simultaneously, immediately in other languages. It depends how you want to use it. Personal guide, whilst it is not online and it cannot give you current airline tickets and current open holiday packages, what it can do is really give you the golden nuggets of any region, whatever you might be passionate about, whether you are a open ocean diver like myself, where are the best places, what time of the year to go, what other activities can be done. It really can help to do that. When it comes to legal, it can develop any contract you can think of. It has every term and condition for anything that you may want. It will provide it for you. It can summarize a legal document for you. It can compare documents for you, highlight what you need. Anything to do with a legal action, from contract creating, contract evaluation, checking country-specific laws, is a massive, massive input. Personal gifts, you can put in personalities, you can put in anything you may want. My child is this, they like this, my family. It can help you come up with huge amount of creative ideas. I mean, honestly, this is just for your productivity. When it comes to careers, you can ask anything. Even if you are a recruiter and you want to, let's say tomorrow you are interviewing a candidate, and your role, you want to know how truthful someone is, how ethical someone is, or maybe you want to know anything in particular you may want, any competency you may want to know. You can ask ChatGPT, give me 5 questions that can help me create 5 case scenarios that can test, give me 5 questions that can test somebody's ethical dilemmas. It can give you anything. You can put your about me, your career objective. You can put in a whole job description, your CV, and say, please write me a relevant cover letter. Anything. I'm only touching some of the iceberg. What else can you use ChatGPT for? Very good for marketing. You can ask marketing to create from content ideas. So let's say I use ChatGPT. I've already delivered the body language previously. I use ChatGPT. I've done my research, I've done everything, but I use ChatGPT to help me create more of the keywords, content ideas. And what you can actually do, let's say tomorrow, you get a message to say, right, you are now going to have to do a presentation at management tomorrow, and we want to see A, B, and C. And it takes you at least a couple of hours to do your presentation, if minimum couple of hours. You can go into ChatGPT, create content. It will give you the structure. You go into Canva, you integrate Canva with your APIs, upload some of your logo and images, and say, right, create me a 20-page slide on PPT with this content. Done. 15 minutes complete. It can create stories for you, not just content writing, copywriting. It can improve existing content. For social media marketing, it can create drip messaging. It can create anything you may want: advertising, marketing campaigns, email campaigns, SEO, hashtag generation. The amount marketing, in fact, is one of those roles that is very likely to be impacted. When it comes to businesses, especially if you go for the paid version, where it will go live and retrieve the data live, which is the paid version, you can have to do a whole competitor analysis. You can do a whole customer avatar. It will help you create a lot of that product, price comparison, draft documents, contracts, any business presentation, interview simulation, creating job descriptions, every part you can think of, manage your bookkeeping, financial, especially anything that is repetitive and structured. It can create so much. I have not included coding or other things. I'm just keeping it to some basics. So it really helps with health and wellness, making meal plans, recipes, any food that you may think of, anything that is ever been posted on the website. Remember, we create ChatGPT. You and I, every time we input something in it, we are training it. Just like Facebook, we are the ones that create the marketing content. We are the ones that are doing it. So it can help with discovering new meals. You can put, I have these 3 ingredients. Can you help me come up with a, I don't know, Chinese style? What about if I were to do a Mexican style? Really anything to do with food, health advice, calorie tracking, nutrition information. It can even act as a coach, but this is where we need to be really, not a coach, but like, if you're lonely, especially in the new work environment, if we're going to be all remotely based, etc., mental health, etc. So these are just some of the health areas that we need to take into consideration. ChatGPT for education, massive. It can give you tests, can help you learn a language. It can turn itself into a study buddy, personal. You can learn any language you want on here, from beginners to end. Anything that you may ultimately want to do, really the ChatGPT can do. Now, it can do all of these wonderful things, but how do we actually use it? And this is where the interesting part comes in. It is not so easy using ChatGPT, but it's like the first time you learn to use, I don't know, anytime you're learning to use a new application, or every time it gets revamped, you don't know where to find something. So like anything, it's about getting comfortable to use it. Actually, in our office, we call him Johnny, because ChatGPT just seems like such a mouthful. So have you asked Johnny? And all of it is about prompting. So here's some basic guides about prompting ChatGPT. First, you have to assign it a role. I want you to act like a 5-year-old. I want you to act like a manager. I want you to act like whatever it may be, an auditor, an accountant. I want you to act as a HR manager. You have to give it some form of role. Then you have to give it some clear, descriptive, and accurate. The more clear, descriptive, and accurate the task that you give it, the better. So instead of just saying, write me a blog, you can say, write me a 6-paragraph first-person blog post designed for an audience of cat lovers that includes a funny story, ends with a question, shares that I have a ginger cat called Orlando, and mentions, I don't know, whatever cat brand it is of cat food. The clearer, the more clear, the more description, the more accurate you try and input, the better it is. And also provide context to ChatGPT. So include everything in your prompt that you think will help ChatGPT to do a better job. So if you're not sure, just include it. Include information on writing style, the purpose of the text, any background information, scenes, guidance. I am in Kenya, I am in agri-tech, I am in this field. So where possible, not only are you assigning it a role, giving it a clear, descriptive, and accurate task to deliver, you are giving it context. Also create rules. Most people and technology, we do very well when we have rules. Be specific of the output. I want 2 columns. I want 6 paragraphs. I want 100 words. I want 1,000 words. I want a sentence or explained in a 5-year-old could understand, or I want it to, what it can do is, for example, Natalia, I have a very particular way of communicating. So I can even ask ChatGPT to create a new article. I can dump additional previous article that I have written and saying, using language like this. So I'm giving it some, providing examples. So it can take on my personality, it can take on humorous, it can take on authoritarian, it can be very traditional, it can be millennial, use slang words. The more rules, constraints, and you provide examples. The beauty of ChatGPT, the whole language model is really capable of processing huge amounts of data. Now, every time you do all of this and you input, do not expect ChatGPT miraculously every time to provide you exactly what you want. Yes, garbage in, garbage out, but you will rarely create the perfect prompt to automate a huge several step task. So this process takes several different steps. So each set of results, evaluate, make changes, and go back and potentially make changes on this. So here's some examples. You don't need the hey or the please, but I am a hi, how are you, and a please type of person. So for some reason, I'm always typing please into ChatGPT. So, hey, I want you to act as an analyst, auditor. I want you to perform an analysis of Just Work with the following top 5 companies, and I'll put it in those. I need you to focus on pricing, market positioning, branding, and messaging. Research the relevant market, analyze each brand to identify key differences and similarities. Present all the information in a detailed report that includes graphs, charts, tables. Based on all the information, let me know how my brand can improve. Can you see, this is like a whole expert. So the prompt that you are putting it in is really important. It can help you create business avatars, a whole, even a website in terms of all the things, but how you prompt it and how you do it. Here's another example. I want you to act as a social media manager. I need you to create a social media post for the following platforms. So it knows that X or Twitter only has a certain amount, that Insta likes images. So it can actually create all of these things for you. You can act like an SEO consultant. I want you to create a list of keywords as well as corresponding target strategy to optimize my e-course, e-learning. Choose the appropriate keywords for targeting. So here are just some examples. My apologies, guys. I know I am covering and throwing quite a lot at you, but I want to make sure that I cover everything, and we also have a few minutes to ask questions. Please, as I am explaining all of this, if any question pops to your mind, don't just put it in there. There is no silly question. There is no irrelevant question ever. So type any question that you think it might be relevant to you in the comments as I am. So once I finish, we might have some questions to answer. So continuing with the prompts, and I'm actually going to show you a live example. So, you know, somebody says, how I want to understand better understand practical application of AI and ChatGPT in analytics. So you can actually just reword it slightly and say, can you help me understand the practical application of AI and ChatGPT in analytics? And I can now add in finance, in investment, or you can even, if you are an investment, you can do in, I don't know, the write-ups, or there are very, very specific keywords. So you can say, let's say you're in HR, you can say, help me understand the practical application of AI and ChatGPT in appraising employees. You can reword your questions over and over again. When I say ChatGPT is your world expert, you can ask it anything, but you do need to be careful of the results that you are likely to get. So I think this moves to the ethics. So let me just open ChatGPT so I can just share with you a few examples. Here we go, share, bear with me a second, my screen. So I use, as I said, OpenAI. I simply, and you can ask it, I use it daily, absolutely daily. And it remembers all previous chats. You can go back and reword it. So I can say here, can you help me understand understand how ChatGPT and AI will impact HR professionals. Let's say you want to type in whatever you want. And it's true, recruitment and talent acquisition is going to become much more. Candidates, especially millennials, are going to be, they're very different. They don't want to keep coming back to interviews. So how we even interview candidates, whole candidate experience has changed. Onboarding employees, absolutely. Employee engagement, doing regular surveys, having an internal intranet HR person that potentially communicates. You can have your whole learning and development that will constantly make things relevant to you. Compliance, automated routine tasks. There are so many, and you can really input your content here. So going back now onto, just do a check time. Yeah, perfect. I've moved along. I feel like when it comes to ChatGPT, I want you to also not be afraid to go and say, what are the best prompt for ChatGPT? And then you can say for, let's say, finance, and begin to be curious and look around. You'll begin to see top ChatGPT prompts for finance pros. So don't be afraid to use ChatGPT. And it will tell you, calculate the present value of an investment given the expected cash flow and discount rate. You can give it so many different tasks. Not using ChatGPT is not an option. I can right now go into, let's say I go into any LinkedIn profile. I'm going to choose Adam, the first one that is coming up in front of me. I can, just as an example, let me see his about. He's written his about here. I am a LinkedIn. I'm going to control copy. I'm going to go back into ChatGPT. I'm going to say, can you rewrite this with some humor? And then drop your text. And we know what for the, ahoy there, I'm a LinkedIn top leader. You can check what it is. You can say, make this shorter. You can keep redoing it. The prompting aspect, it changes for everyone. Some prompts are highly complicated. Some prompts are really, really easy. What I tend to do is when I'm writing emails that are, that I need to be very careful, like when I'm sending offer letters out to candidates, there are some legal elements that I want to be using. So I can drop on any email and ask it to reword it. So remove this word, make it more like this, keep going until you get what you want. You can take this text, control copy it onto a board, redo it, come back and ask it to redesign it. You can ask absolutely anything. Like I see that I don't even use Google so much. I go constantly to ChatGPT. So a few weeks ago, I was trying to create a drop-down menu on my Excel spreadsheet, and it needed to have a little bit of coding done. Once I worked out what I was asking, it gave it to me. I went into LinkedIn, gone into the developer mode. It told me how to do that. Another time I asked, I want to run a live event. What platform in my Zoho can I use? I want to do a live streaming. What are the best programs out there? Every expert you can think of. You see, normally I would think of, who can I ask this question? Who would know how to help me on this? Forget all of that. Go to ChatGPT, ask the simplest questions. It will give you absolutely everything that you need. But be careful. This is where I'm going to now move to really what are the ethical aspects of ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is only one of 6 generative AIs. And when I'm going to be doing the next future of work, and I'm going to be talking about the other generative AIs, the ethical elements of that are even more scarier. But let us just focus on ChatGPT. It is interesting, first of all, that it is banned in some countries. Some countries have outright banned it. Nobody can access it. Many companies have banned it. You tend to find a lot of techies are very anti-ChatGPT. They are the ones that are saying, oh, it's going to be bad for us, it's bad for privacy. A lot of technical people tend to be like they're not even using it, or etc. It's interesting. You also have companies who are embedding internal ChatGPTs inside their intra network, not just having external ones, but companies are beginning to have a lot more guidelines on how. When I say some companies, I also want to extend this to some industries, meaning, for example, the academia is one of the areas where, you know, it can write any report for you, it can create any of the images for you, etc. So when it comes to ChatGPT and the ethical aspects, really misinformation, disinformation, biased, inaccurate outputs that can create stereotyping, can propagate hate messages, can really fake news, and all of its potential dimensions falls into this. So ChatGPT, you know, please do not assume everything is correct that ChatGPT tells you. I know I said he's an expert, and some areas your expertism to judge finishes, but ultimately really pay due diligence, because if you are sending it, if you are putting it out there, it represents you. But the risk of misinformation, fake news, really hate messaging, changing historical facts, re-engineering truths. So this is one area that it can provide real big problems. Of course, the impact of employment, job displacements. I do believe, like, if we want to think of the conspiracy theorists, you know, and we go into, you know, ChatGPT and generative AI is going to remove, as they're saying, 87% of all work labor. And if we go to these big conspiracy theories, oh, you know, only 10% of the population needs to be around, you know, and all of those different things, we can go into absolute crazy places that, you know, there will be a massive divide between rich humans and poor humans and employment humans and all of this digital tagging. And look, I'm not going to go into that, but I do think that there are already things. First of all, we need to put it into context. When we say all of the world, out of the whole 8 billion, only 30% of the world is actually online, okay? When we go to many rural South America places, Asia, Africa, 70% of the world is not even on the internet. Though Kenya has the highest mobile penetration, we also know that we don't have internet access in all rural areas, etc. So let's put it a little bit into context. But I do believe 1000% that ChatGPT will change how we work, the type of jobs we do, the type of work we are going to do. Of course, privacy violations. This is huge mine area, data privacy. It is a whole other area that we can really dig deeper into. Plagiarism, cheating, copyright infringements. But interesting also the implication of human-like conversation, AI, then blurring the lines between human and machines. You know, these are not limited. These are just some of the areas that we can think of, you know, that I'm covering here. Also, when I think of not just the top 5 jobs, but really tech jobs, coders, honestly, computer programmers, software engineer, data analysts, jobs are very much at threat. Why? Because ChatGPT can handle huge data content. Just you can keep throwing at it and it can keep doing it. You can let's say you have a bug in a code, it can, especially once it's been tailor-made for your company as a tool, it can do all of the bug checking, system flaws. It's a machine that is constantly updating, so it can code, it can program, it can create architecture, it can do analysis, it can, my God, all sorts of different things. Graphic designers, absolutely. I mean, look, humans are very creative. So we as human beings, a second, yeah, We as human beings, our creativity, it's innate to humanity. So whilst the machines can create creativity, etc., I don't know, but yes, I don't need to engage a graphic designer. Systems can create my logo, can create a lot of my images. While the more paid versions give you cleaner, not all of them they're still in their infancy. Teachers, absolutely. The whole learning system, COVID has pushed us into e-learning, interactive learning, virtual augmented learning. Teachers, just individuals who are not experts in their fields, teaching theory is going to go out. What we are learning, the future new skills, education systems, the way they traditionally are, is already shifting. If you think of the biggest universities from Harvard, Stanford, Oxford, what they've turned to right now is much more about publication houses, research, trends. They are very different the way they were 20 years ago. Market analysis, media jobs, content writers. ChatGPT you can even say, create me a video, put it on the social media. I can input 10 minutes video of myself and then create 20 pages of content, and that video can provide me. I mean, some of these, if I go to the, this is a real story. This gentleman is a lawyer. He received a call from his son screaming, I've just had an accident, or I've just hit somebody. Please help me. You need to send me. The lawyer is here. It's the child's voice. He's having a full conversation. It's a complete hoax. Like, people have been like this whole fake thing. I don't want to go into above ChatGPT, but where you are bringing in the voice, etc. Legal jobs, accountants, finance, customer service agents, waiters, waitresses, even to some extent executive assistants. Bill Gates said in the next 5 years there will be none that exist. So okay, 5 more minutes, and I'm going to leave 10 minutes to the floor for questions and to go back deeper into any areas that might be interesting. So in terms of next steps, what can we help you at Just Work? First, we can test your CV or LinkedIn if you are using it to apply for jobs and you're not getting results. We have several e-courses. We have lots of free courses that we can sign you up to. If you are at a point in your career where you're thinking, I don't know where I want to go, you can set up a 30-minute call. You can sign up to our monthly events, newsletters, so that we keep you posted in what we are doing. What we have is sign-up forms where we can give you salary negotiation, personal branding, lots of different parts. For your digital reports, it's all online. We will follow up with an email, and we will ask for you just 2-minute survey. And at the bottom of the survey, you will have access to all of these links. Here's to test your CV, test your LinkedIn. Here, the forms just ask you to provide us with the critical information. What you will receive is, so it does a keyword comparison. So if you've been clicking applying for jobs and nothing is coming through, we can tell you, give us either a job that you want to apply for or a job that you have just applied to. The match rate is very, very interesting. It gives you really good information. It will say things like, I don't know, performance management is repeated 15 times in the job description, but only once in your CV. So it's just getting you to make it keyword based. We do it both for your LinkedIn and your CV. And finally, when it comes to our best product is the masterclass series. In the e-learning, we have an e-learning platform called Just Careers. I highly recommend masterclass series because apart from the future of work, it has 3 training sessions: personal branding, on and offline. How do I measure it? How do I build it? How do I strategically and intentionally manage it? It also has everything you need to know on LinkedIn, how to get headhunted. It's a very practical training. And then how do I build my network? How do I really get headhunted for the right roles? So we will follow up with lots of information. And yeah, I'm just going to go to question and answers.